And there we are. We have just shown a series of shorts, the short film showcase number 1, and this is our second little interview for that. As you guys know, everything that's going on with the cinema, Lumiere is coming back, so named after the candlestick from Beauty and the Beast. So first of all, first question, could you just go down the line, let us know who you are and what part you played in these movies?
Okay, yeah, so I'm Jason Impey and I made the film Destructive Brief. I had a little team, but I was a bit of a one-man band, so yeah, the director, cinematographer and editor, the technical guy behind it.
Hi, I'm Stephen Lancefield and I wrote and directed Fast Sale and also the documentary The Spirits of Penge.
Hi, I'm Neil James and I played Jake in Fast Sale for Stephen.
So every film and every short starts somewhere. Where was the original inspiration or the original idea for these short movies?
Well, for me, I've done years of indie filmmaking and a lot of shorts, and I've done a lot of silly stuff when I was younger, like the kind of cheesy horror gags, and so I've tried to lately be a bit more serious and tackle more serious issues. So as I've got older in life now, from when I started out, I've gone through a lot of various things, and so I wanted to kind of have a little play about with emotions and grief, because it kind of expressing yourself through art, I'd say. I use film as an art form to express myself, so I was kind of exploring some personal issues, really.
So for me, Fast Sale was kind of inspired by, I was trying to sell my bungalow at the time, for real, and I was living next door to my neighbours at the time, and I was essentially, when the estate agent came round, I must have seemed quite edgy. I think I was so keen to move out that I think that kind of inspired it really, that I was my nerves almost kind of inspired how that woman could be as well, played by Barbara House in the film. And for The Spirits of Penge, obviously documentary set in a haunted house, that came about when I met two guys at a New Year's Eve party, and they just mentioned that they lived in a haunted house, and I thought, perfect idea for a documentary.
And James, how did you come to be part of Fast Sale? Sorry.
Fast Sale was the second film of Stephen's that I'd been in, so I worked with him on a film in 2021 called Euthanasia. And we got on, and he asked if I'd come back and play a very different role. I was a bit of a villain in the first film I did with him. So I'm more the, well, not the hero, but more the nice guy in Fast Sale. And yeah, just explained to me that it was set in a very strange house. The actual filming of it went quite smoothly. It wasn't yeah, of the 3 films I've made with Stephen, that was easily the smoothest. So I can't really remember any kind of anything going wrong, or if it just kind of...
You lost your voice, didn't you?
I lost my voice, yeah. I had to scream a lot at the end from various different angles and different pitches. So, but luckily we did save that to the end. So yeah, it was just a really fun shoot, and I think it's a really fun film. I like the film a lot.
And what is it about the dynamic? Obviously, the two of you now done 3 films together. What is it about the dynamic that you both think works?
Well, I think Stephen doesn't just cast me as the same thing, you know. Like I said, I've played I've played 2 kind of creepy villains and a nice guy. So I guess in the 4th film I'll be back to being a nice guy if he has me back. I like the way Stephen works. He works very quickly, he's very clear, very concise. He lets me play a little bit with dialogue, and it's it's just a fun collaborative relationship we have together, as far as I can say.
No, 100% agree. I think one thing as well that Neil brings to the project as well, which all good actors do as well, is that he will say when something doesn't work, and he'll say, actually, can we redo this, can we do it this way, and almost add his own direction in too, because he brings that wealth of experience from so many short films, which is super helpful.
What is, obviously you're saying that you're taking a bit more of a serious tone to your films now, rather than just playing around. What have you found is the most difficult part of kind of creating that serious tone and that little bit of suspense in these kind of films?
Filmmaking is really hard, to be honest. And I take my hat off to anyone who makes a film. Years of doing it, I know how hard it is. And it's very easy to fall into, when you've got not a lot of a budget and not a lot of resources, I think it's very easy to fall into gags or unintentionally. I am guilty. I've made a lot of films where I've been trying and people laugh, and I've kind of played with it, but they weren't really supposed to be funny, but they end up being funny because of all these like reasons. So I've consciously tried to project on screen more serious issues. Horror and comedy do go well. I think it's finding the right balance of trying to do a drama with a bit of horror element without falling into making fun of something. So it's very challenging. It's a journey. Film is always a journey. I'm pleased I'm getting to explore the various issues I've done. I just hope it kind of portrays on screen, and I'm tackling it sensitively and not stupidly.
And with that, when you're trying to be a lot more conscious of what you're doing with that kind of tone, seeing it up on the screen here today, is there any one thing that you agonised over in the edit or in post-production that maybe people might not pick up on straight away, but to you, you've seen it today and you thought, yeah, I nailed that, I got that?
I was pretty pleased how it went. As always, time was against us. It was all shot in a day, and the light was disappearing. So when we was in the forest at the end, it seemed quite light, but when we went into the deep, dark woods, obviously the light was going a lot quicker, and I nearly did forget the shot to show that there was an empty forest. I'd done everything, I was planning it all, and just as everyone was leaving and we were packed up, I realised I'd actually lost the shot, so I had to run back in quickly, which annoyed me because ideally I wanted to see me fade away, because and I wasn't able to, I had to do it in an edit trick. So yeah, there's always something that bugs you, but you know, I can't complain. It was pretty, considering shoots I've done, it was quite smooth sailing.
And Stephen, you've two very different shots shown up there. You've got one which is straight fiction and one that's kind of a mockumentary. What was kind of your favourite area to play with there?
Sure. So yeah, it wasn't a mockumentary. It was actually a documentary. So everything that happened in the documentary happened for real.
Wow.
But a few people kind of thought we faked it as well. I think because of the voices and stuff too. So I think people sometimes think it's. But yeah, everything that happened in that documentary, the kind of strange voices, that was all happening. And so the question was
just the two different tones, the two different ways of making two different genres.
Sure. So the documentary was obviously we didn't know quite what was going to expect. So when someone was speaking, you'd have to kind of like pan the camera over, and you couldn't really plan for that. Obviously with Fast Sale, we'd kind of rehearsed it and blocked it, so there's a lot more, you know, it's a kind of slicker production. With documentary, you've kind of got to go with the flow, and whatever happens, just kind of film it and then almost hope for the best in some ways.
And with that, did you get any like happy accidents that you really weren't expecting? Was there anything you can think of that just stands out?
I guess the dead people speaking to us in the documentary was quite something that we didn't quite expect, because we kind of went away. We thought that documentary was going to be a quite light-hearted one. Obviously, it took a slightly darker turn. I think with Fast Sale, I think one thing that I was really pleased with actually was kind of the way that Neil bounced off our lead actress, Barbara Halsey. I had a feeling that they would do that, but I think they had a real kind of chemistry together. And I think you never quite know until you put those actors together in a room, and then they bring such energy to it, which is vital for that production.
Awesome. I genuinely thought it was a mockumentary. You didn't actually film ghosts.
Oh no, 100%. No. Yeah, everything that came out of that spirit box was not edited together. That was all when they told us to go away. That was all there. But yeah, people do think we kind of engineered it, which is not the case. 100%. Swear to God.
I don't know. Are we all believing that? That's a big no. Let's move into the audience. Do we have any audience questions out there? Yep.
Do you think you'd ever screen the film for the ghosts and get their reaction?
Ooh, well, like a cinema full of dead people, or?
Yeah, so go back to the house, screen the film and get their reaction.
Oh, I see, I've got you. No, it was actually quite scary in that situation as well, because we didn't know quite how it was going to go, but actually being in that situation with the voice boxes, and especially that, you know, some people saying my name, I mean, it's a lovely house and the owners are lovely, but I wouldn't venture back there anytime soon, to be honest with you.
Anyone else? Yeah, we've got a hand there.
Yeah, it's me. Hi. Just want to ask, I believe a couple of you are both, you were talented in front of the camera as well as directing the project. How do you feel juggling those two roles?
Oh, well, yeah. So I've done that before purely because of when I was younger and I started making films, I could rely on myself because I was let down a lot, and I was really shy actually when I was younger. I hated drama and stuff, but I put myself in it just to fill numbers and do the small part. It's easy to direct myself in a way that I can't let myself down, but I'm very judgmental. I do hate myself on camera, but it was just nice to know that I could grab those shots and just kind of get it done. But yeah, I do that out of necessity rather than prefer doing it. I'm much more of a behind the scenes person and prefer that side of camera, but we will have to start somewhere.
100% agree as well. I'm not kind of massively one for. I'm certainly not an actor at all. And I think in the documentary it was almost by accident because I wasn't meant to be really part of it. I was meant to be just directing it. But when the whatever was in the house was kind of repeating my name, I kind of became part of the fabric of the documentary almost by accident. But that actually weirdly wasn't the intention.
I will just point out that when I was younger, I did make a feature film that I put myself in as the crazed serial killer, and from that I ended up getting cast in a lot of indie films and became an indie film actor unintentionally, and I've had to try and shake that off over the years to be the filmmaker and not keep getting cast. So
Do we have any more? So I'm going to go with this question as well. I asked it in the last Q&A as well, but it's a question that I like to ask. I like to find out what people are learning when they make movies, and that is obviously what you maybe learned about filmmaking you didn't really know about going in, or you hadn't really honed in on. In the acting as well, you can class that as well, and also what you've learned about yourself.
Well, my biggest time is the thing I always value. Like, there's never enough time to make a film. I always tell people to allow time. I always try and plan, but yeah, I forever forget how time goes so fast on a shoot, and that's always my enemy. And I always try to learn to allow more time, but sometimes you just can't. But I do find it a nice self-discovering journey as well. Something like expressing yourself is almost a form of therapy, making a film. So it's an addictive thing. Filmmaking is the bane of my life. I love it, I hate it, it makes you broke, it makes you stressed, but I love expressing myself, so it's a mixed bag of emotion for me.
So I agree. I love filmmaking of what it can be quite tough going content, especially kind of juggling it with a full-time job. I think from the films, the most recent batch, I think I kind of learnt that it's quite nice to have quite a short film as well. Lots of my films are kind of 15 minutes or so. I think with Fast Sale it's kind of 8 minutes. It's quite nice to kind of keep the pace up as well. So I kind of learnt that short can be quite good as well, rather than kind of being too wordy, as it were.
Well, I was playing an estate agent, so I did do a little bit of estate agent studying, and they tend to be very jolly and very friendly, but I'm never quite convinced they're actually being completely truthful or telling the truth. So I tried to bring a little bit of that to Jake. And obviously, unlike Jake in the film, if I was in front of a rattling wardrobe, I would leave the house. I wouldn't open the wardrobe, but that's just me.
For your next project, I'm going to ask you what your next project is, but for your next project, if you could cast anyone, like a dream cast member, who would you cast for your next project? I mean, obviously we know it's Neil, but who would you love to cast for your next film if money was no option?
Wow, that is a tough question, but I do like Gary Oldman because he's quite a chameleon actor. He every role he does, he looks so different and does such a different job. I think he would be quite amazing to work with because of what he can bring to the table.
It's a really difficult question. There's so many good actors out there. I mean, I'm just lucky as well to have actors like Neil and Barbara who Fast Sale. Oh my goodness. Do you know what? My mind's gone blank. There's so many good ones. I'll pass it to Neil.
I'm really keen on Toni Collette. She's one of my absolute favourites. Her performance in Hereditary is just majestic. So she'd be at the top of my list of dream people to work with. Definitely Toni.
And with that, what is next? What are we working on next?
I've shot a art house film called Existence, which is a bit like the film Life Out of Balance, kind of just exploring the meaning of life. It involves a lot of exotic animals and stuff. It's very different for me, that's I've been doing it for a while, hopefully finishing this year, because there's just untold amount of hours of footage, time-lapse stuff and stuff I've been doing on the side, so I'm festering away to try and clear my slate on that one.
So for me, I've got a film called Mr. Average. It's another kind of short horror. It also stars Neil again in a very kind of different role. So that was a lot of fun to make. And that's going to hopefully start doing the festival circuit quite soon, touch wood. And also I've written a short film which is a short chiller set in the future about dating called Future Gaze, which is produced by Graded Films in Arundel as well. So that'll be out hopefully, I don't know when it's edited, whenever the director has kind of put that one together.
In April, I start work on a feature film called Amelia, which is a drama horror. It's a vampire film. But it's got aspects of horror to it, but it is essentially a drama, I would say. I think I've got 4 or 5 days on that, shooting in April, May, so I'm very excited about that. And I'll be trying to network around the festival and trying to find more work while I'm here.
Best place to do it.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap it all there, but first of all, one bit of advice that you would give to any filmmaker coming into the industry or trying to break into the industry, what kind of advice would you give them that you wish you had when you started?
For me, it would be just go out and spend a day making your own little film and try everything. Like try all the areas of production to see what you like best, but also even if you don't like a specific area like editing or cinematography, I think if you have an understanding of it all, it will just help you as a filmmaker appreciate everyone's job and how to get the best. So understanding all the roles is one of the big advices that I'd give.
Yeah, I'd agree 100%. I think also as well, once it's made, I think definitely to kind of to workshop it as well, to kind of get it in front of an audience who are going to tell you honestly what they think about it as well. I think one of the most honest critics is probably my mother, but she usually nails it as well. If there's ever kind of a film which doesn't quite work, she'll often say, actually, you need less music, you need less something on so as well. So to listen to that feedback and to learn from it as well, and to not take it too much to heart as well, because everyone's got their own opinion about what works.
I think I would go to script. I read a lot of scripts, get sent a lot of scripts, and a lot of the time they need development. In my opinion, they need redrafting. I think actually hearing a script read or performed out loud around a table read or something seems really hugely beneficial to writers and directors. So I just think, just when you think your script is ready, just to go one more. Maybe it's just really absolutely get it as tight as possible.
Well guys, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for sending us your movies, submitting them at the festival, and most of all letting us show them today, and for being here today. And remember, always pay your ghosts.
Cheers, thank you.